right, so today we're going to dive into something really cool. We're going to help you guys get ready to absolutely crush it in that typist interview. We've got the RoleCatcher guides right here, all fired up.
Yeah.
And no matter how much experience you have, we're going to get into the good stuff and hopefully have some aha moments.
Yeah, it's amazing how this career that people think is all about speed really requires you to think strategically about how you even present those typing skills. So we're going to make sure that you stand out from the crowd.
Love it. So this RoleCatcher guide is jam-packed with interview questions. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. We'll tackle a few of them and kind of pick apart what the interviewer is really trying to get at.
Yeah, let's do it. We can start with like a really common one. What inspired you to become a typist?
Mhm.
Now, that might seem like a surface level question, but they're really trying to get at your motivation here.
Yeah, it's kind of like that classic why this, why now question.
Yeah.
And I think instead of just listing off skills, they really want to hear like the why behind the keystrokes.
Totally. Like, was it maybe a love of language in school that got you excited about typing and creating documents? Or maybe you're someone who just loves the precision of taking ideas and turning them into text. This is your chance to show that connection to the work.
That's a good point. Now, what if someone, maybe their early experience was helping their friends format college papers, and they realized, hey, I actually kind of enjoy this process even more than I enjoyed, the content itself. Is that like a valid kind of origin story for a typist?
Totally. I think that speaks to a natural inclination towards organization and presentation. Those are such transferable skills in the world of typing. Don't be afraid to highlight those early experiences, especially if they show a passion for taking something that's maybe a little bit rough around the edges and turning it into something really polished and final.
Okay, that's a great start. So this next question I feel like is a potential pitfall for people. It's what typing speed do you have and how did you achieve it? Feels like it just sets you up for like comparison anxiety.
Totally. It's so easy to get caught up in the numbers, but honesty and a focus on growth are going to get you so much farther. Be upfront about your speed, but then transition into the how. Like, did you practice consistently? Did you use certain typing software or online courses to improve?
Yeah, it's like saying, hey, I'm at X words per minute and I'm actively working towards Y because I'm committed to always improving. Yeah, that speaks volumes beyond just throwing out a number.
Exactly. The how shows so much initiative. It shows your desire to excel. Now let's pretend for a second you're the interviewer. What kind of follow-up questions would you ask after hearing that response?
I might ask something like, what resources did you find most helpful for improving your speed? Or even like, how do you plan to maintain those skills moving forward?
Those are great follow-up questions. You see, it's all about showing that you're proactive. You're dedicated to always learning. And those are qualities that any employer is going to love. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can really come in handy. Imagine being able to input your typing speed, input your practice methods, all of that good stuff into the system.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Tell me more about that.
So RoleCatcher actually analyzes thousands of job descriptions, including the specific one that you're going for, and it can pick up on keywords that are related to the skills that they're looking for. So for example, if a job description really emphasizes accuracy over pure speed, RoleCatcher is going to pick up on that, and it's going to help you tailor your answer to match what they're looking for.
So it's like having your own personal little strategist in your pocket.
Yeah.
Analyzing the playing field and telling you the best moves to make.
Exactly. And speaking of strategy, let's look at a question that's all about problem solving. What are the most common errors that you encounter while typing, and how do you correct them?
Well.
I think this one trips people up because it can feel like you're admitting to a weakness.
Yeah, it's like confessing your typing sins.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's more about just showing that you're self-aware and that you have systems for improving.
You hit the nail on the head. Everyone makes mistakes. It's really about taking ownership of those mistakes and showing that you have a system for catching them and learning from them. So instead of just listing common errors, talk about the strategies that you've developed to combat them. Do you read your work out loud? Do you use a ruler to help guide your eyes? Is there a certain proofreading technique that you always use?
So it's like saying, yes, I might transpose letters every now and then, but here's my 3-step system to make sure that those slip-ups never actually make it to the final draft.
Exactly. And you know what? This actually ties in perfectly with building your typing portfolio, which is something that the RoleCatcher Career Guide talks about. Imagine being able to present a potential employer with a collection of perfectly typed documents. That shows how much you care about quality.
Right. Like you're not just talking the talk, you're actually showing them.
Exactly. And speaking of showing your skills, let's tackle this question. How do you prioritize your typing tasks, and what strategies do you use to meet deadlines? Now, this one might seem like it's just about typing, but it's a golden opportunity to flex those organizational muscles, which, as we know, are transferable to any career.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, show us you can handle a busy workload and still deliver amazing work. So I imagine having some sort of system is key here.
Absolutely. Whether it's the classic to-do list or color-coded spreadsheets, maybe you're a super high-tech and you've got a project management app. Whatever it is, showing that you have a structured approach to managing multiple tasks is key.
So even if someone's like a whiz with sticky notes and color coding, that still counts as a system.
Absolutely. The key is being able to articulate your process clearly. So you could say something like, I prioritize tasks based on urgency and importance, and I use a color-coded system to track deadlines and make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. Now let's flip the script for a second. Imagine you're the interviewer. What kind of follow-up questions would you ask?
I think I might ask, can you walk me through a time when you had multiple deadlines that kind of collided? What steps did you take to manage that?
Perfect. They're looking for evidence of your problem-solving skills and your ability to stay calm and adapt under pressure. This is where a real-life example, even if it's from a volunteer role or a personal project, can really make you shine.
It's all about connecting the dots between those experiences and what employers are looking for.
Totally. And speaking of connections, let's move into the digital realm with this question. How do you handle confidential or sensitive information while typing? This is huge. Data security is so important these days, and they want to know that you're someone they can trust.
Right. It's not enough to just say, oh, I'm like a vault. What are some concrete ways that someone could show they understand confidentiality?
Definitely start with the basics. Being aware of data protection policies, using strong passwords. But then take it a step further. Have you ever worked with sensitive documents where you took extra precautions? Are you familiar with encryption software? Have you ever had to redact confidential information?
Those are all really good points. Now, what if someone is newer to the workforce and they haven't had a chance to handle confidential data in like a professional setting yet? How can they still show that they understand the importance of it?
That's a great question. I would say they can talk about their commitment to learning about a company's specific security protocols and their willingness to undergo any necessary training.
Yeah, it's like saying, I get it, data security is important, and I'm ready and willing to learn and adapt to your specific procedures.
Exactly. And this actually goes back to something we talked about earlier with RoleCatcher's AI. When you're crafting your response, the AI can actually analyze that job description to see if data security is something that's really emphasized for this particular role. And if it is, it will actually guide you to include relevant keywords and experiences to make sure that your answer really resonates with what they're looking for.
It's like having a personal career coach and a data analyst all rolled into one.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about a question that I think sometimes catches people off guard. Can you describe a time when you had to type a document in a specialized format or style? This is where you get to show off your versatility and how adaptable you can be.
Yeah, it's going beyond, just basic paragraphs.
Yeah.
And diving into the world of formatting. So this is where any experience with legal documents or technical manuals, even creative writing formats, that would all come in handy.
Absolutely. Highlighting your skills with specific formatting styles like APA MLA, even just being comfortable navigating different software programs, it all shows that you're adaptable and ready for anything.
Now, what if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, wait a minute, I've mostly just typed up essays and emails. I haven't really encountered those specialized formats. What advice would you give them?
I would say focus on your willingness to learn. You can mention resources that you've explored, like online tutorials or style guides. This shows initiative, and it shows that you're eager to expand your skill set.
So you're taking that potential weakness and turning it into an opportunity to shine.
Exactly. And this is another area where having that typing portfolio can be a game changer. Imagine being able to include a variety of documents in your portfolio, each one showcasing a different formatting style. It's really impressive.
It's like saying, I'm not just a one-trick pony. I'm a formatting chameleon. I'm ready to adapt to whatever you throw at me.
I love that. And speaking of challenges, let's talk about one that I know trips some people up. How do you handle difficult or sensitive typing tasks, such as transcribing audio recordings or handwritten notes? This one can be tough because it's about accuracy, attention to detail, and sometimes even deciphering handwriting that looks like it was written in a hurricane.
Right. It's like those memes. Can you read this doctor's handwriting?
Yeah.
But in real life. But really, it sounds like this question is testing your problem-solving skills just as much as your typing skills.
Absolutely. So you want to showcase your ability to handle those tricky situations. Have you ever used a foot pedal to control audio playback for transcription? Do you have any go-to strategies for deciphering messy handwriting?
Those are great examples. What if someone hasn't had a ton of experience with transcription specifically,
Yeah.
but they want to show that they're willing to learn? What would you suggest?
I would say highlight your listening skills, highlight your meticulous attention to detail. You can also mention your comfort with technology and your willingness to learn new software or techniques.
So even if you haven't had the exact experience, you can still connect the dots between your existing skills and what the task requires.
Exactly. And, guess it, this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can really help you out. By analyzing that job description, it can see if transcription or similar tasks are something that come up frequently. And if they do, it will guide you to really emphasize those skills and experiences.
So it's like having a personalized roadmap for your career. It's showing
Yeah.
you exactly what to highlight for each specific role.
Right.
This has been so helpful. I feel like we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of these interview questions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about understanding what they're really asking and then using that as a chance to showcase what you bring to the table.
Totally. And speaking of showcasing skills, the RoleCatcher Career Guide had some good tips about building a typing portfolio. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. Think of your typing portfolio as like a highlight reel of your best work. It's a collection of documents, spreadsheets, anything that you've typed that really shows off your skills, your accuracy, your attention to detail.
So it's like a resume, but instead of just saying, oh yeah, I'm proficient in Microsoft Word, you're actually showing them what proficient looks like.
Exactly. It's proof.
I love it. So what kind of things could someone include in their typing portfolio?
Well, it depends on what kind of typing work you're hoping to do. But some common things are samples of really well-formatted documents, transcriptions of audio or video recordings, even spreadsheets with like complex formulas if you're comfortable with that.
So basically any experience where you've taken information and you've transformed it into like a really polished type format.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to showcase a range of skills. So if you're comfortable with different formatting styles, include a variety of documents that show that off.
Okay, so say someone's listening and they're like, okay, that's all well and good, but I've mostly just typed up essays and emails. I haven't exactly created, portfolio-worthy masterpieces yet. What would you tell them?
I would say look for opportunities to broaden your horizons. Volunteer to help a local organization with their typing. Offer to format your friend's resume. Look for freelance projects online. All of those experiences can help you build a really well-rounded portfolio.
That's such good advice.
Yeah.
So once you have this awesome portfolio, how do you actually use it when you're applying for jobs?
There are a few ways. You can bring printed copies to interviews. You can make an online version and link to it on your resume or your LinkedIn profile. You can even showcase snippets of your work on social media. It's all about getting your work out there.
You're not just telling them you're good, you're showing them.
Exactly.
Okay, love that. Now let's talk about remote work for a second,
All right.
because the career guide mentioned that that's becoming more and more common for typists. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, remote work is definitely on the rise in general, and it makes perfect sense for typists. All you really need is a computer, a good internet connection, and, of course, those amazing typing skills.
Well, it's a very digital profession.
Totally. And it's a win-win for everyone. Job seekers get more flexibility, they can potentially work from anywhere, and employers get access to a wider pool of talent.
Love it. Now, for someone who's specifically interested in remote typing jobs, do you have any tips on how they can stand out?
Absolutely. First, be upfront about your desire to work remotely when you're applying. A lot of online job boards have filters that let you search for remote positions specifically. Then make sure you highlight any experience you have working independently, managing your time effectively, communicating clearly in a remote setting.
It's all about making those connections again.
Totally. And even though it's remote work, those core typing skills and that dedication to quality are still paramount.
Okay, perfect. One last question before we wrap up. Salary expectations. What can someone realistically expect to earn as a typist?
That's a great question, but unfortunately, there's no easy answer. Salary can vary a lot depending on where you live, how much experience you have, what industry you're in, whether it's a full-time or part-time position.
So like with most jobs, it depends.
Exactly. But the RoleCatcher Career Guide does give a helpful range. On average, typists in the U.S. make somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000 a year.
That's good to know. And I imagine as you gain experience, maybe you specialize in a certain area, maybe you even move into a more senior role, that earning potential can definitely go up.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the power of negotiation. Knowing your worth and advocating for yourself is so important.
This has honestly been such an insightful conversation. I feel like you've given our listeners so many tools to succeed in this field. From nailing those interview questions to building an incredible portfolio to navigating the world of remote work.
That's what we're here for. It's all about being intentional, strategic, and always open to learning new things. The skills you develop as a typist will serve you well in any career.
Couldn't agree more. So for our listeners out there, we challenge you to take action, whether it's crafting that perfect answer to the what inspires you question, or finally starting to build that typing portfolio that you've been putting off. Every step you take gets you one step closer to your goals.
You got this.
So until next time on The Deep Dive, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those fingers typing.